Welcome once again to my YouTube channel, it's Theron. Today's topic is a text-oriented one. For people who want to study in or emigrate to an English-speaking country, such as the United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, or the United States, they need to take an English test to satisfy the language requirements, and IELTS is one of the most accepted language tests. In this video, I'm going to briefly talk about the formats of the writing paper. For example, what sorts of writing tasks you expect to attempt, and explain how examiners determine what band test takers get. Without further ado, let's jump in. There are two IELTS tests. One is academic and the other is general. The academic version is for people who want to get into a tertiary institution where English is the primary medium of instruction. On the other hand, the general version is for people who want to emigrate to an English-speaking country. These two versions are not interchangeable in most circumstances. The reading and listening papers, which focus on assessing receptive skills, are the same for both versions of IELTS. However, the writing and speaking papers, which target productive skills, have separate formats for academic IELTS and general IELTS respectively. So what are the differences? What should I expect? What skills and strategies do I need? This video will focus on IELTS writing and give a general overview of the task types and assessment criteria. Specific skills and in-depth walkthroughs will be in separate videos. In terms of writing, both academic and general have two tasks, and their recommended time allocation is the same. The recommended time for task 1 is 20 minutes. The task type is visual description for academic and letter for general. For academic, you need to describe the main features of a graph, table, charts, or diagram. For example, income level for male and female in a particular country in a particular period. Whereas for general, you need to write a letter in response to an everyday situation. For example, write a letter to your landlord and explain issues in your apartment. The length is the same, both requiring at least 150 words. The style of writing required is at least semi-formal for academic test takers. In the general tests, it is completely task-dependent. It can be totally informal or strictly formal. Task 2 is relatively longer and also counts more towards your final grade. The suggested time to spend on this task is 40 minutes for both academic and general. Although both versions require the test taker to write an essay in task 2, the possible topics are quite different. People who choose the academic IELTS are required to write on an issue. For example, their opinion regarding a policy and whether it will solve a social issue, while those who offer the general IELTS need to write an essay on an everyday concern. For example, their opinion regarding whether schooling should be made compulsory. Whether you take the academic or general, the word requirement is still 250, and you need to write in a style that is neutral, at least semi-formal. You can't write in a style as if you are writing to a friend or family member. In the academic version, basically what you need to do in task 1 is thinking of yourself as an assistant researcher who needs to spot what is significant about the data provided and draft up a summary of your initial data analysis. The purpose here is to present objective analysis rather than utilizing your personal knowledge or experience. Always stick to what you can observe in the information provided and nothing more. There are 7 common types of data representation, and I'll explain each of them and provide a step-by-step guide in separate videos. Task 1 of the general version is, in my personal opinion, easier than the academic version. First, you don't need to analyze data and find the angle. You just need to use your own imagination to fill in the details. Second, the structure is provided for you, so you don't need to spend time thinking about how to organize your writing. The academic version of Task 2 is similar to an essay that university students write, except that Task 2 is much shorter and it doesn't require a reference list. In this task, you need to present your stance very clearly with supporting evidence and examples. Compared to the academic version, the Task 2 in General IELTS has a very similar question type. The only difference is that the topic is an everyday concern rather than a serious issue requiring a deeper level of critical thinking. This example is about schooling choices. When it comes to assessing writings, IELTS examiners follow 4 sets of assessment criteria. Each set targets an essential aspect of a quality piece of writing. The first is task achievement. There are 2 pieces of detail here. The first fully satisfies all the requirements of the task, basically means task completion. How many specifics you provide. One of the corresponding strategies is identifying keywords that tell you what to include. If you fail to provide details regarding any one of them, you risk losing points. I would suggest that you make a checklist with the keywords, and then while you plan and write your essay, look at the checklist regularly so you don't miss out any requirements. Very often, the keywords also help you develop a structure that is appropriate to the task. Then it helps you to meet the second sub-criterion, clearly present a fully developed response, which just means presentation and how many parts there are in your writing. And what you need to do here is to put your content in a structure so your flow of ideas is logical and smooth. Let's take a look at the example of Task 1 in academic. In this question, there are 4 keywords: selecting, reporting, main features, and make comparisons. A common mistake a lot of students make is to only report every detail they saw and fail to select what should be considered as main features with the use of comparisons. If the question is a lengthy one, then test takers may need to pay more attention as there are probably more keywords to keep in mind. In the second example, usually most people will have no problem identifying the first 2 keywords: homeschooling and public schooling. What are harder to notice are the keywords that follow: a child's growth and children's development. These are 2 concepts that are centered on social and psychological well-being of children. We may talk about how they make friends, how they develop interpersonal skills, how they learn the idea of respect, how they develop a sense of community. Next, we have the word discuss. The word discuss means to talk about something in detail in order to show different ideas. To discuss effectively, you need to write in a tone that is objective and neutral. The purpose here is just to provide an explanation. The next keyword is advantages. If you talk about disadvantages or advantages plus disadvantages, then you're not doing what you're asked to do. Then we have opinion, reasons, and examples. The word opinion suggests a change in communicative purpose. Previously, we're required to discuss, but now we need to persuade to give an opinion. It is a very different style. To persuade, you need to establish a position and support your stance by presenting your reasons with examples. So basically, you need at least 2 body paragraphs. The first is a discussion about the respective upsides of homeschooling and public schooling. The second body paragraph is argumentative in nature, and in this paragraph you're trying to persuade the reader into believing which mode of schooling is better for a child's development. The second criterion is coherence and cohesion. Both terms are about organization and flow, whether there is a connection so the writing is clear to readers. However, they focus on different aspects of textual organization. Coherence concerns ideas, thoughts, information. To achieve this, the writing needs to present clear structures. I use the plural form here, structures, because organization is not just about paragraphing, but also more importantly, how sentences in each of the paragraphs are put into a structure. The basic structure of a composition has 3 main parts. First, there is an introductory paragraph where you arouse the reader's interests and define the focus of your writing. Will follow are body paragraphs, which contain the main contents, such as your points, your reasons, and your evidence. The final part is the conclusion, in which you sum up your main points and restate your point of view again. What I just showed you was the big structure. There is also a structure within the paragraph, the small structure. The first sentence of a paragraph is a topic sentence. Then there is elaboration, a signpost to introduce evidence, and next, an example. I will explain each of them in a separate video, but you can see that each sentence is clearly assigned a role and has a particular function. In this way, the reader can be clearly led to follow the flow of your presentation. Unlike coherence, cohesion means how words and sentences are put together. One of the strategies you can adopt is the use of linking devices. An example of a linking device is in-stock contrast. You use it to connect 2 sentences which significantly contrast each other. Take a look at the sentences below. Over 90% of male respondents suggested that they consume alcoholic drinks more than 3 times a week. The next sentence is very different in terms of percentage. Less than 5% of female respondents expressed that they drink alcohol at or above the frequency. To make the reader anticipate the contrast between the 2 sentences right after reading the first, I put in-stock contrasts between the sentences. Using linking devices also tells the examiner that I understand what the data is about, and I didn't just translate data into words. The third criterion is lexical resource. It basically means how many words you know, your vocabulary size. One strategy to show your vocabulary range is to use synonyms, meaning words with similar meanings, in your writing. For example, if the writing task is on the topic of traffic, what words will you use to refer to the people on the street? If you only use the word people throughout your writing, then you'll probably get a band of 5. If you want a band 6 or above, then you need to use words that are more related to the topic. You may use words such as commuters, pedestrians, road users, and wayfarers. Another example. If we need to talk about cars, what synonyms can you think of? Some possible choices are vehicles, means of transportation, modes of conveyance, and automobiles. The final area of assessment is grammatical range and accuracy. There are two concepts here, and they can translate to how many sentence structures you know and how many grammatical errors you make. When it comes to sentence structures, one rule of thumb to keep in mind is to use complex sentences. Here are some examples of complex sentences. I'll explain the concepts of complex sentences in detail in a separate video. For the purpose of this video, we'll just touch on some complex sentence examples. In the examples below, you can see that the first halves are the same. Children under the age of 6 should not be allowed to use computers. But after this sentence, I add the following words to introduce one more sentence. First, there is because, which is used to introduce the reason for the suggestion about screen time restriction. Blue lights from computer screens hurt their eyesight. Then there is unless, meaning except if, which is used to introduce the condition they wear blue light blocking glasses. I also used which to provide additional description of computers that they emit blue light that damages children's retinas. In terms of grammatical accuracy, one of the common language categories to be concerned with is prepositional errors. Prepositional errors are a pretty big area, so I just randomly chose some examples. The first is to refer to the school, tertiary institution, or workplace associated with someone. In the first sentence, the use of in before University of Reading is not correct. The correct preposition is at University of Reading. The second is the preposition to be put after the verb agree. Both agree to and agree on are grammatically correct, but their meanings are different. Agree to means to accept something, while agree on means to have the same opinion about something. In the context of sentence 2, agree to doesn't make sense. The correct choice is agree on, because it's talking about the view on the topic those experts all share. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please kindly share it and smash the like button. I will also appreciate financial support to this channel through PayPal and Patreon. If you have any feedback or questions, don't hesitate to leave a comment below. Also, hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Last but not least, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you'll be notified of upcoming videos. Thanks for watching and see you next time.